Coming up on Mountain News this morning, a plea deal has been reached in the case that led London officers to Doug Harless's home. And the U.S. Department of Labor is looking to rewrite or repeal more than 60 workplace regulations, potentially impacting conditions at construction sites.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Good morning. Happy Wednesday. We're halfway through that working week. I'm Amelia Lee here with you at 6:30 on this July 23rd. It's also time to check on in with meteorologist Megan Dusmalver this morning. Megan, it's hot and humid. I'm trying to think of more creative ways to say that, and I've really hit my limit of creativity. I genuinely have.
You know, steamy and a little bit of fog this morning.
Moist, anything like that.
Yeah. And we have a little bit of a dry trend in terms of rain, so there's the good news there. But surprisingly, while we do have those steamy conditions, this morning's actually cooler than normal, especially for our more northern counties. Normally we sit in the upper 60s as you start off your day, and for most of the region, we're looking at the low to mid 60s. 64 in Louisa, 65 in Prestonsburg, 63 in Hazard, 61 in Clintwood. Now it is a little bit warmer for more of our southern counties, 71 in Harlan, 73 in Monticello. But this afternoon, everyone will be seeing those hot, steamy temperatures. Looking in the low 90s. Feels like temperatures will be even hotter in the upper 90s. So be prepared, stay hydrated, and dress appropriately for those hot temperatures. We will see a little bit of clouds rolling into the area this morning, but overall it's a nice dry day with only a slight sprinkle chance for our southern counties this afternoon. You can consider it a pretty good and hot day. Amelia.
In central Kentucky, state police say an escaped inmate is now back in custody. Troopers say 43-year-old Jeffrey Harrison got away on the morning of July 8th. He was supposed to be in court in Estill County on drug charges. Police say Harrison escaped the Three Forks Regional Jail by impersonating his brother, who was scheduled for release. KSP says Harrison was arrested in Lexington just before 3 yesterday afternoon. He was charged with escape and taken to the Fayette County Detention Center. Well, we are getting new details on a story we've been following for months now. A plea deal has been reached in the case that led London officers to Doug Harless's home. Police say Hobart Buttrey stole a weed eater back in December. After his arrest, officers tried to serve a search warrant in that case on Van Zant Road. Dispatch audio our sister station obtained says the warrant was for 489 Van Zant Road. State troopers say officers shot and killed Doug Harless at his home on 511 Van Zant Road. Buttrey pleaded guilty to theft by unlawful taking and being a persistent felony offender. His sentencing set for August 13th. A Florida man says he came back to his southern Kentucky property to find a shocking scene. His business was broken into with thousands of dollars in items taken. But police say they were able to track down the stolen things because of how the thieves tried to sell them. WYMT's Phil Pendleton explains what happened.
You never know what you might stumble upon when driving the back roads of Kentucky.
I told Ben it's at least $20,000 worth of stuff.
Thieves took that and a lot more from the old stagecoach stop in Rockcastle County.
It's just a total mess in there. The door was still open.
Coolers, freezers, even old air conditioners were taken.
I said, I'm going to start scrolling Marketplace. I found that smoker listed for $2,000.
Police later arrested Johnny D. Bowling, who they say was trying to sell the smoker. They say they found a bunch of other items with him.
Everything I had in there, they had taken.
One of the more expensive items taken was an $800 grill smoker that was sold to a church, and Crawford says he simply told the pastor of that church to keep that item.
I spoke with the preacher, and he said he was very sorry for being involved. I'll just donate the smoker to your church.
Crawford says he used to work as a lineman, and some items taken were expensive electrical hookups.
The worst part is, that was I did 20 years with Florida Power and Light. That property was my 401k.
But he says police were right on top of it, arresting Bowling and a second suspect, James Seals, within 2 days. In Rockcastle County, Phil Pendleton, WYMT Mountain News.
On top of the theft charges, Johnny Bowling is also charged with criminal mischief, marijuana cultivation, and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. Well, the Morehead Fire Department is mourning the loss of one of their own. Former fire captain Lynn Johnson was killed in an ATV crash. Those who worked with him described him as a young 75-year-old who was the definition of a public servant. We're told Johnson was also an educator and taught many young people and inspired them to become EMTs and firefighters. Yesterday morning, officials gathered at Hazard City Hall for a Chamber of Commerce meeting. There was lots of discussion, including updates on projects at Hazard High School, different infrastructure projects, including water line replacements, fixing the Welcome to Hazard sign that was recently damaged, and what the mayor called a road rage incident. And interns with Envision Hazard spoke about their work this summer and some beautification projects they hope to put into place.
The other thing we're working on is to push art throughout downtown. We're trying to drive a movement. One of our ideas is to put a mural down on Taxi Alley with lights that strings across the alleyway with old vintage license plates. Another one we're trying to do is to put a movable mural.
Davidson says they have also worked on projects for the upcoming North Fork Music Festival this Friday and Saturday and help with the recent 4th of July festivities in Hazard. Yesterday was Adult Wellness Day for Primary Care Centers of Eastern Kentucky. The Hazard location hosted the event for adults ages 21 and older. The annual Wellness Day includes wellness exams, certified diabetes care, and on-site insurance representatives. Family nurse practitioner Christy Harold says they're there to educate and to prevent.
We have folks scheduled to come in for their annual physical exams where we go over different types of preventative screenings to see if they've had those or if we need to schedule those, or just to provide education on both the wellness screenings, which would include mammograms, pap smears, bone density testing, also to review immunizations that are available.
The event also featured giveaways of their services in dermatology, behavioral health, quality and chronic care management, and the 340B prescription program. Harold says they offer services every day and are just a phone call away. Well, Perry County Schools is keeping its superintendent. Kent Campbell has been the superintendent since January 1st, 2023, and is expected to continue in that position until 2030. Campbell says he looks forward to continue helping the school system grow.
Favorite part about being the superintendent is just getting out in the evenings and watching our kids and extracurricular activities, or visiting schools and meeting with the school level administrators or teachers and going over what's working, what's not, and always looking for ways to improve.
Campbell says he's thankful for the opportunity to continue leading the district and working for the community and students. The U.S. Department of Labor is looking to rewrite or repeal more than 60 workplace regulations. If approved, it could affect working conditions at construction sites and in mines. Currently, employers have to submit plans for ventilation and prevention roof collapses in coal mines for review by the Mine Safety and Health Administration. Right now, MSHA district managers can require operators to take additional steps for improvement. The Labor Department wants to end that practice, saying the current regulations give the district manager the ability to draft and create laws without soliciting comments or action by Congress. The Claiborne County, Tennessee Commission is talking about regulating future growth within the county. Right now, someone who buys property there can essentially do whatever they want with it. If you live in one of the cities, it's different. But in the county, you've just got to go through the Planning Commission. The mayor says it's caused multiple instances of things he calls a nuisance. Things like junkyards, RV parks, campgrounds, and tiny home complexes. The County Commission voted on what's called the County Powers Act. It would have put some zoning guidelines on future projects. The mayor and some in attendance giving their side.
I'm not too keen on what's happening in the county happening next to my property, right? But there's nothing in place for me to stop somebody from coming in and setting up shop for whatever they want to do and then devaluing or causing some environmental impact on my property.
Yes, on my property, I really don't want to be regulated on if I wanted to go out there and put a shipping container out there on my property so that I could stow equipment or whatever. I think that ought to be my choice.
The mayor says he expected it to be about 50-50, but out of 21 county commissioners, all 21 voted against this. Even the 2 people who proposed this change voted against their own item. The mayor says it's done for now. For the foreseeable future, the county won't have any power on stopping a development or plot of land they deem is a nuisance.
We're still seeing a little bit of fog out in the region, but it's starting to clear up just a little bit, especially as that sun starts to heat up the ground. We'll continue to see that taper off. We're looking at mostly clear skies with a little bit of some clouds rolling in, but that's the trend for the day. Mostly sunny to clear skies with temperatures in the low to mid 60s. And some folks seeing the upper 60s and low 70s, warming into the 90s as we head into the afternoon. Here's how we'll get there this morning. Again, looking at a mixture of the 60s with those clear skies. We'll continue to see clear skies. We're heading into those lunch hours, 83 degrees. And by the time we're going into the evening, temperatures will start dropping down from the hottest part of the day into those upper 80s. Amelia.
Well, thanks so much for joining us at 6:40 on Mountain News this morning.